bit of a long and drawn out story, but basically we done our homework. We went to watch River play against Alpha on the Friday night. That was a game that River Plate also had one player sent off, and the coach was cautioned a number of times on the sidelines. And things that looked really, non-consequential in the stands blew out of control in that game, and there was a lot of off-the-ball instances, which I don't really want to go into, but that was the basis of my training for 3 sessions prior to the game on the Sunday. And of course I recognised that this team was very volatile. They were here in Trinidad, and they already had their misgivings as to whether the referees were biased towards Trinidadian teams. There was all sorts of problems about the stadium and the pitch markings. So before we'd even kicked off, they were already raging inside about a number of issues that were really out of our control and nothing to do with Jabloteh. We then went about our game plan. We kept very solid. We made it a very quick game. We tried to disrupt their passing game. And as the game wore on, you could see them getting more and more frustrated. And there was things happening off the ball. The coach was getting involved in rows with the 4th official, and all sorts of statements were being hurled at the Jabloteh bench. And our team, really, to give them due, the players, I thought they were tremendous. They kept to the task, they kept working hard, they didn't get involved. They picked the players up, dusted them down, and got on with the game. They'd done pretty much what we'd intended to do. And when we scored the goal, I thought it was then a time where we needed to be resolute and show our resilience and not be drawn into something that ended up. And with the exception of Serrano Glenn, I thought my players were magnificent. I thought we'd done a professional job. We saw it through. We walked away from troubles and dangers. We walked away from it and made sure we kept our noses clean and made sure we were in the next round. What transpired at the end of the game was really ludicrous. I mean, one, there certainly wasn't enough security or attendance around to help the match officials, and what started off as an incidental, something small, escalated right out of control. And I think, Derek, you'll see all of my players, my staff, my players, we'd already, before the end of the game, made a decision that we would move our players right to one end of the ground, away from the tunnel area, away from the River Plate players. So we were trying to minimise any possible clashes after the game. Naive maybe, but Jason McCarno then went on to shake hands after the game, unlucky and all that, and really they went to set about him, and I think that really contributed largely towards the chaos that we saw in the end. Several of their players almost attacked him. 2 or 3 of my players went to aid him and bring him away from what was a potentially dangerous situation, and really we tried to contain and take the sting out of the situation, but because there wasn't any security on the day, I just thought it was a thankless task, and we couldn't get away from something that turned into something really ugly. Well, I've got to say this, River Plate came into this tournament as favourites to go through into the final stages of CONCACAF. They've won the Puerto Rican League. They're obviously a very good side, with several Argentinians within their ranks. This was a big blow for them, not going through to the later stages, and I've got to hold my hands up. Our players really took this task at hand. They knew it was going to be difficult, and we've come through. I'm delighted about that. It's unfortunate for River Plate, but I would have to say their conduct over the 2 games wasn't good at all. In fact, it was appalling. We've tried to distance ourselves from that. It's not what we're about. We want to be fair and strong and see the best man win. I thought that happened anyway. I thought the best team did win, and I really don't want to be drawn into the ugly scenes that we saw afterwards. Going on into the competition, the competition was scheduled for the final rounds, final qualifiers, to be in Puerto Rico. That has since been changed. The competition is now returning to Trinidad, where local sides, Joe Public and ourselves, Jabloteh, will take on Puerto Rico Islanders and Bayamon, which is also a team from Puerto Rico. So we know that the competition is now stiff. All 4 teams are excellent footballing sides with a lot of character, with a lot of determination, we would hope to be certainly within the top 3 teams going through into the CONCACAF stages. Yeah, I know a lot about Puerto Rico Islanders. I'm very friendly with their coach, Colin Clark. He's a friend of mine. So yes, I've kept tabs with them. I've been instrumental in a number of players leaving Trinidad and playing for Puerto Rico Islanders. Bayerman I don't know as well, but we've got people on the ground. We're getting assistance from Colin Clark. We're getting a fair idea of what we can expect from them. They're not going to be an easy task, and I think the last bit of scouting that we'll do, they actually play in the doubleheader. They play the second game in the doubleheader at the Marvin Lee Stadium on the 5th. So we'll get a good opportunity to see them firsthand. We'll have a number of sessions where we'll be able to prepare for them. It will be tough. Puerto Rico Islanders got to the final last year, so that's no mean feat for themselves. So we know we're going to have our hands full. It's going to be very tough. Joe Public are in a good vein of form, but we are confident in our own abilities and confident that we'll go through.